product name, right? So what makes sense, basically? Nothing really special here. Here I want to call in stock my units in stock. So if you do SQL, you will probably be comfortable doing this stuff. So we run the program, it shows me a name, and so on and so forth. In the view of data, you can say, don't show me raw data, show me sort of user data. So don't show me primary key, don't show me foreign key. And show me formatted values. Don't show me unformatted values. So now I see dollars and total stock, right? So that's basically kind of a representation of what users would probably see when they go look at your data. Okay? And if you can also enable like labels, and that would show you sort of like little labels here.
Little labels,
all right? Labels like displayed here. So like shows you sort of like, instead of field names, shows you labels. Country of origin, so kind of just the way you can customize it, will memorize your settings, will display it that way. If you want to see where this comes from, you touch it, and it will show you like in the model. That's right, this guy. Okay. All right, so you can set out filters. I'm not going to do it right now. Let's just go ahead and save it. Okay, we'll just do something. What else do we have? We have categories and suppliers. Well, why do we have categories and suppliers? The application noticed that you have model which references a couple of tables. So we suggest to you that maybe you want to create controllers for each of them. So if you don't create controllers, you wouldn't be able to, see your data in an advanced UI. You will just see values. For example, instead of having ability to select the category, you will see just ID of the category. So I'll just say, okay, let's take it. So we'll take this model. There's not really much to do here. I will say make it alphabetical, sort order. That will be first field to sort. We'll save that. We'll click on suppliers. I'm not going to do much here. So if you look at the data, probably we need to sort them alphabetically, so they come out not alphabetically. And also we have home page. And when I do my demos, I generally turn off this, page thing because it has no data really. It's like not really the real URL, so I turn it off. I go here, I say I don't want this column. Maybe it's a system column, I don't want to use it. And I will say sort by everything here by company name. Okay, it's not here, it's back here. Yeah, it's here. What? The first field. All right, so we save that. Okay? So at this point, my model is done, so I just want to say next. We'll skip all the steps. I'm not going to do anything else here. Okay, so I'll say, okay, we can use this statements, okay. You can enable multilingual support if necessary in the application, and we'll just continue and build that. What you see here right now is the ability to specify what to do with the end result of code generation. So we will compose an application for you, Code Runtime will create it. There will be the same core framework of code to execute requests. And there will be customized set of data controllers specific to your application. What you will see here is the ability to run your application after code generation. So we're going to start IIS Express, which comes with Visual Studio. We'll just start up, and we'll run there. This is a port application we'll be listening on. So when you have multiple apps, each of them will have its own port. With the May release of Code Runtime in May, you will have extra options here. You will have two more options. And basically, both of them will be called Universal Windows Application. So are you guys familiar with the Universal Windows Apps concept?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Right. So what is Universal Windows App? So to answer simply, it's a JavaScript-based application. You cannot write a Windows application and run it inside of a Windows phone. A C# application. It has to be a special C# application. You cannot write an application which will run and because all the devices are different and you cannot write one app and run everywhere. So what Microsoft did, they built HTML pages. They basically suggest to use, for example, one of the options. That's not the only option. You can use WPF as well, but let's say you can build an app which uses HTML and JavaScript to present, and Microsoft provides you a predictable API to talk to the operating system, which is available on all Windows 10s, Windows Phone versions, and so on and so forth. So all we're going to give you is the ability to essentially, instead of launching your application in a web browser, we will be able to, number one, generate as a part of this code generation a custom Universal Windows app. You can put it on Windows Store, and your end users can simply download it. And you'll be able to set up your app and say, go to that particular URL. So you deploy your web application to a server, but the Windows app, the Universal Windows app, will know where to go. This is kind of like a browser hosted on a page. This browser will be more advanced than just the browsing feature. It's not just the browser window without, browser UI. There will be ability to display notifications, and, so basically that's what we're planning to do, and this will be an option. We already built this up soon. There'll be a secondary option. I'm not going to discuss it, but kind of, again, related to universal Windows subs. In June, July, actually no, not June, July. In August, September of this year, we will also give you an option to additionally generate native iOS application and native Android application, which will be essentially, you're not going to be running it on your computer. It will be just get generated. But the options will be, when you develop, either see a Windows app or a browser, whatever the default browser you have. If you like Firefox, Firefox will pop up. But if you enable Windows application, it will always be Windows application with Edge inside of it. Okay, and this will be only on Windows 10.
And this will use the same look and feel on the iOS and the Android?
Well, our application, Touch UI looks exactly the same everywhere. And we're going to first roll out this Windows app. We'll make it work with notification pushing and all this other stuff. And we'll do a native application which will have the same features. There will be no extra look and feel. As a matter of fact, it's just the browser. It's like a window in the browser filling it up. So if you run a web browser, like for example, this particular application that you see, like Code on Time, is actually a web browser. So it's a window here, and in the side of it is a web page. It's a web page. It doesn't run on a server. It runs locally on your computer and talks to the Windows application, the one which has the frame, and it generates code. Okay, so it's exactly the same concept, and everybody else does it the same way. So if you want to build a one app to run on all platforms, you build a big web-based application, and you create some kind of a web browser, web view it's called. And natively it's called web view on iOS and web view on the Android device. Okay? So basically, hosted Safari, hosted Chrome. Think of it this way. And in case of Universal Windows app, that would be a hosted version, special version of Edge, if you will. It will look the same way. We'll just make sure that we make sure push functionality is the same across Windows applications because it's easy to build and you can generate it right away. It will be based on WinJS, so you will be able to put some stuff on WinJS if you need to. And then for the other ones, we will probably use the same mechanism. All right. So at this point, I can go and look at my app or start designing. So when you design, you're not really designing. It's probably now a little bit misrepresenting what it is. It's actually you kind of implement your app. You design the implementation of your app. So model where you design your models. But just the way we introduced it, it previously was called Designer, so we kind of call it Designer still. Technically, it's not really a designer. It's implementation design. You describe to the application how you want your application to be, constructed, if you will. All right, so we're going to run the app, see what it looks like. I'll highlight some of the features from the next release, and then we'll go ahead and build some business rules there, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so this is an application coming up. So in my release, I don't have all the themes, so when we log in, I will just enable a special theme, like a black and white theme. Admin, let's just read this. All right, so I'll go to themes, and we'll go to settings, and we have a bunch of settings here, so you can go to, I'll say light. I'll enable light theme. There are two generic themes, light and dark. They work okay, and I'll just use light one. All right, so we signed in, and what you see now is the UI we call responsive UI, called Touch UI. So it doesn't do much here. You can see a menu option, menu options on the top. Each of them represent one of the models that we have. You can use Designer to restructure this model. You can see how they wrap, and you say, there's a home page, membership, site content, and the things that I build are products, categories, and suppliers. And you can see how application sort of adjusts itself. Remove the menu goes over here, for example, and adjust itself based on what I see, how much space is available. So we go to products, and let's take a look at them and see what you can do. So this is the next generation of our grid view presentation. So we worked a lot, for the past year, we did 10 iterations of trying to come up with a way to display responsive grid. So if you try Code on Time now, it doesn't look the same way. You don't have this column delimiters. In this particular release, coming out literally April 1st, you will have it. So you see now we have custom scroll bars, which will look the same way on all devices, and they will disappear on touch devices, show up on desktop devices. I don't have a horizontal scroll bar to scroll, but I can drag items and just drag them, and they basically move content myself. So let me just show it. Hold on. So I can just kind of use mouse to drag it. There's no scroll bar, but you can see I'm dragging items, right? You can scroll them literally the way I want, horizontally. You can put a lot of columns and scroll them like this, and it works on the touch devices as well. What you can do in the new grid view, we actually use a special mode now. So every time you run your app, the default option for the grid view now is called fit to width. We had difficulty setting up, responsive grid presentation because it's not clear how to structure the width of columns. If you say width of pixels, depending on the device you have, it's kind of hard to predict. Is it going to be too much, too enough? How do you interpret that? And we employ variations of it. Now, if you have columns property on the field, so let's say field has 10 columns, and another one called 30 has 30 columns. So we basically derive those from the size of your, database field, database columns in the design of the database. So we're going to use them all to sum them up, total them up, and come up with a logical minimal width. And if you have fit width mode, this application will try to make all fields fit on screen, but we will ensure that some of it minimal width is enforced. So you may still not have all of them visible at once, but so let's say I have 70 fields. There is no way in any way to put them all visible in a narrow window. But we'll try to get as much visible as possible. And that's the default option. It's called fit to width. So if I turn it off, so this is how it will look. This field is probably 30 columns. This one is a number, I think it's 12 or 15. And you have just wider presentation. So you can turn it off by default and have specific columns. Just use the columns. And disable this fit to width mode. Okay? Yeah. So by default it's on. So just turn on, so you don't have to think about it. So if I go to really wide screen, if I have a big Mac screen, 20-inch to 30-inch screen, it will look not nice enough. It will look naturally as the width of columns. If it's smaller, it will so try to narrow the field presentation. You can also resize your columns. You can drag your columns and just make them wider, like this. And the application will memorize my settings. If I go back to home, we'll come back to product. So you don't have to build it. That's it. That's how it looks for me. I like it this way. Okay?
Another user will have it his own way, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. And if I want to go back to just enable it, reset it to whatever, say fit width, and reset it. You'll be able to drag columns and move them. Put them in a new position, okay? So basically, okay, this doesn't work a little bit here. So mine doesn't work again. So it's not the one that I'm shipping here myself, so I'm not going to show it. Okay? So it doesn't work, I guess, here on this one. But the idea will be you drag it and move it. Just cancel. Tape. Didn't work right away. What else is here? So in the next release, you'll be able to edit in line. I don't have this option enabled here, but April 1st was one of the big features in here. Ability to edit data in line. You'll be able to go in and literally change, it's kind of like Excel style, all your values right in the grid view. You don't have to go anywhere else, okay? What else is here? So you can filter anything you want. Like you look at your data, you say, okay, so show me products and friends. Right click, say, show me friends. And those guys I want to see, I want to limit them to beverages. Okay, have equal beverage. So I have 2. Well, let's say I want to see beverages, but not from friends. They're not equal friends. Okay, everything else is displayed. If I want to see specific countries with beverages, I want to get Finland and Brazil. They apply. Okay, I got these 2 guys. I want to cancel my filter, go here, stay clear. So this is just like end user features you don't build. You can set up server-side code. I will show you a little bit of that. So you can, your typical application nowadays is a multi-tenant application, right? So if you have a list of products, maybe I can see a subset of them. And you can set up server-side rules, and the server-side rules cannot be canceled from the client. If you say on your server, I want to show you only a specific subset of data. All my filters will only show me options from what I can see, not what I want, not the entire database. So this is an end-user capability, and that's how you operate it. If you right-click a column, you can say, freeze. You can change freezing model, for example, and freeze more columns. I would prefer to work this way. Or say don't freeze anything at all. I can say freeze this guy, or just, okay, there's no working there. Unfreeze, it just doesn't refresh properly. It works, but doesn't refresh properly. See, I got no freezing anymore, right? You can disable freezing if you don't like it. So now I scroll the entire set of columns. First column was always frozen by default, and you'll also be able to hide columns to the user and re-enable them. There will be a special option here. On the product, you'll have ability to essentially control columns. I've seen how it works. It essentially says here, choose columns you want to display. You simply check mark columns you want, or you right-click and disable, and they will just disappear from you. For you as a user, So as a developer, you're going to set up your columns in a database, have a private cache for each end user. And what we do, we store it per user. So essentially, if I log out, log in as another user on the same computer, I will have my own settings.
Okay.
And sometime down the road, maybe end of the year, we'll consider doing a roaming of settings. Because settings are stored like in a unified fashion, we can technically move them across devices. We just don't do it right now. We need some place to save them. And we do have this place in the content management system, but we're not going to do it right now. So basically, if I go to my desktop and reshuffle it, it will be mine. I wouldn't be able to carry it over to other computer. You will have to reset it at that time. But most of the time, you'll probably have a phone, so it's not going to be the same exact thing. Okay?
And that is
So
browser
different
dependent. So if they use different browser, then the settings will be saved on browser dependent, right?
Right. It will be saved specifically in that browser. Whatever, all browsers support this ability right now. So if I go to Chrome on the same computer, I will not see the same settings. And we will make roaming work. We'll grab the settings, save them on the service. When the application loads, we can download those with the page. So that way, you will be able to have consistent experience across any application. Right now, it's not there. Okay? But technically, it's there because we have a unified way. Like it needs to be done, basically. It hasn't been done yet. Okay?
Yeah.
What else is there? So you can group your stuff. So grouping feature is not fully completed, but you can group stuff. Okay, that's probably the best grouping way. Okay, $0, right? 5 items. Everything else will probably have 1 item. Or you can group by amount of columns. So maybe supplier, maybe country is a better way to group. Group. Okay, so like beverage is 12, right? Condiments and so on and so forth. In the release that's coming out, we're not going to make much enhancements to this area. This is not going to be changed dramatically, but in the end, you will have ability to group by, you'll be able to put subtotals here as well. So if you have any kind of aggregate fields, we'll calculate and show them right here. We don't display it right now, but you will see them in general. What else you can do here? You can go and switch to another view style. It can be switched to a list. So a list has a design, which you can see here, right? So it's kind of like collapses, so it gets more compact when you go to a smaller screen. And if you go to a really narrow screen, it will get even smaller. So we'll just go to grab to the next line. So that's a list. So items have varying height and multiple columns, and you can control that. So the design tool that we're going to be offering will allow you to design essentially precise positioning of things. You can put 1 item here and 5 items on the right side, and say that you want to display it when you have about 900 pixels width. If you go narrower, it will be a generic presentation. Application will come up with it by itself. You can do filtering and everything else over here as well. So you can say, unit price, and say, show me, greater than or equal to $18, and that would be your filter, right? So you can do it on any field. You can right-click or tap and hold, starting with the next release. Just tap and hold, hold a little bit your finger on the field value, and you will see this menu come up. Okay. And you can certainly sort. You can see you can sort by that field and do the other thing. So I'll just cancel that. Card view gives you multi-column presentation, so you have multiple columns. Again, you'll be able to design them. This is 3 columns. What is it? This is 3 columns you can get, up to 3 columns you will get, and that's how it will get displayed. And also you have charts presentation. Chart presentation gives you up to 9 charts automatically. You don't have to build them. You can disable them all together if you don't like them. The charts come from the model. Basically, application looks at your field values, not values, field types, and nature of the field in your view, like product, and decides what to do with them. So let's say you have products designed as we have done. So let's say we have three ways to analyze our products. We have category name, we have the company name, and country. So essentially, either one of the 3 fields can be used to understand products better, right? I can group by category, I can group by company name, I can group by country. Makes sense, right? I already created natural categorization through the lookups. So basic application looks at that, looks at the date field as well, and comes up with different presentation styles. You can see here, for example, count of products by category. Right? You see total stock by top selling suppliers. The charts are done. We have internal pivoting engine. Your code already has it. It's not like a special server. Essentially, when we read data to present it in a grid, chart. We do that, we retrieve data, and we pull it out. So if I were to go to my grid and say, for example, okay, well, let's say, show me a specific country. Well, maybe not a specific country. Show me a specific, let's do a specific country. Show me Brazil, Denmark, and Finland, and say apply. And if I go to my charts, I will see charts specifically for the data.
Is that rendered with Google Charts or what?
Yeah, this is Google Charts.
Okay.
So you can see how data is being broken down, right? Automatically reduces my presentation. With the charts, you can see data coming from how the data is structured. You can say, show me data. It'll be like a little table saying, this is 132 of this guy, of that guy, and this guy.
Do you do any special arrangements for Google Charts?
Yeah, it's Google Charts.
Yeah, I understand,
Make
but
charts bigger, and we'll also give you the ability to print the entire set of charts at some point. Right now, we don't have it. So charts are rendered on the client. So what we're going to get this guys converted to a PNG file, send it to the server, and bring it back as a PDF report for you. So if I were to look at it, I can say, okay, bring me the whole thing, and we'll get it printed.
so we don't need to do any setup for Google Chart. It's already connected.
It is connected, right? At this point, we don't support any other charts. So the API, the way it's done, the chart view is essentially a pluggable view. We have a built-in plugin for Google Charts.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Now I
Request
understand.
from other guys to essentially. So the charts themselves don't really do any draw. The charts are simply show data. Then every single grouping, getting data is not done by Google. We do, we don't send it to Google. We simply download Google API files. One of the issues, not issues, but really kind of thing to consider with Google, Google doesn't allow you to package your stuff with deployment. You cannot take it and put it in your app. They just don't give it to you according to their license. So we took Google Charts because it's the most evolved and highly supported library, and it's free. And we'll probably offer at the time in August, September, an alternative library, which will have similar to render charts. We have a few sort of candidates already. We'll just provide a different plugin so you can package it with your app. So there'll be no issues with licensing when you deploy it, so you don't get Google otherwise. All right, so we'll just get back to small here. So again, these charts are automatically set up. Application looks at various lookup fields, and for example, you see a little map here, right? You see, USA supplies 12 products, 8 products from Australia, and so on and so forth. So it's a pretty efficient way to analyze the data and see what it looks like. You can always disable all of these views and make it only green. Just hide it all together. You don't want anything else. Okay? If I create a new record, let's just disable this beverages here. Get a grouping for now. So let's just create some data here, right? I'll say new and create a record here. So starting with the next release, right now we have arcade cancel buttons. When you save, we kind of replace it, say save, saving new everywhere now. So you can, starting with the next release, you'll be able to add multiple records. You don't have to, you can do it right now. You can set up saving new feature, but let me just turn it off. You can set saving new yourself, but we made it globally for the application, starting with the next release. So new product, then I'll say, okay, so supplier, you go in, here's a list of suppliers. Same capabilities. I can see them on the map. I can go to Google Maps and see suppliers on the map, pick them up from the proximity, look them at, the charts, cards, brief view, and so on and so forth. So I can say, show me guys from USA. All right, so this is suppliers from USA. So I'll take this guy, we'll say, okay, that's the one I want to take, and that's the one I selected. So go to categories, here's a list of categories, here's a list of cards. If you have mobile device, I can say, okay, let that one, and if you touch this area, you can photograph, you'll make a photograph or pick some, something existing. So I'll say, okay, I want to install flowers now. So I'll say save and new, and continue it in categories if I want to. I'll go back, and here's my flowers thing, right? If you can enable multiple selection and do all kinds of other things, what I'm going to do here, I will essentially say, okay, let's take flowers. So here's flowers category, right? And I'll put units in stock, 10, unit price, $1.99, and I will just say save and new. That gives me another product, another product here. And I'll say save. That's the product. That's the one I created just now. So if I sort by, I guess, units in order, smallest from top, I should get this two new records somewhat closer to the top, right? So, okay, so this guy's here and this guy's here. So you can enable multiple selection if you want to at will, or you can set it up by default. So I can say as a user, okay, give me multiple selection, and get these two guys and can delete them now if I don't want them anymore. Take them out. You can select multiple records. When we select if you don't, like if you see less than about 90 records, we're not gonna make any database requests. If you see like less than 90 records at once, we're gonna make a request to the server, pull out about 1,000 primary keys. So when you browse your data, we don't really we give you infinite scrolling, but we don't load all of the records. We load only a subset of them. So it's about 90 records. So when you get to the bottom, we kind of feel like we say loading and load more records. And if you were to keep going and you had a long list, we're going to remove records from the top. So we're going to use a small number of HTML data rows to mimic, infinite scrolling. You cannot put 1,000 rows on the screen. Your browser will simply die. It doesn't matter what kind of browser. They just don't perform well in this case. Okay? All right. What else is here? So I guess we'll just look at the categories. We'll look at the categories. You can enable cards, multiple groups of cards, and upload, do all kinds of things. So let's set up some business rules here. I'll show you how to do business rules. Say it again?
The photographs that are displayed on categories.
Okay, I didn't hear what you said. I heard on categories. I didn't hear really well what you said.
Thumbnails in categories. Go to the categories.
Okay.
Not pictures.
Well, can you put actions in the categories?
What are those pictures?
Pictures
You
of
can add to the pictures from the photograph.
Yeah, that's pictures from category. Pictures of category. Yeah, that's a category pictures.
So you're creating the thumbnails on the fly.
Yeah, we create a small thumbnail on the fly. It's essentially application draws your image on the server and renders a picture. So it's not going to do it for your PNG file. This is like original file. And I guess this one is a little bigger. Should be bigger. That's a big one. It will be reduced to a small picture. So we don't do it for PDF files because you can't just draw a PDF file. You need something to actually reproduce it. Something we consider in the future will probably provide a way to draw like some thumbnails of. So right now we automatically draw thumbnails of pictures. Okay, so let's set up some master detail pages. Okay, so what I want to do, let's say I go to categories. I want to see some products when I select the categories. I go here. I'd like to see something here as well. Besides the details besides the fields of the categories, I'd like to see something else. So I go to current time, cancel, finish, and then I'll go to the model, to designer. In the new release, we have a feature called data view fields. What I'll show you now is kind of like legacy way to set up fields to display on the forms. But there'll be another way it will be documented, and you'll be able to essentially put a field. I was going to explain to you like conceptually, but I'm not going to be able to show it. I don't think it worked. I tried it last time. It didn't work when I did the demo. But I know what it's supposed to do. So essentially, there will be a new view field. You'll be able to say, I want to say, in my categories, I want to show products. And you'll be able to say, I want to have data view field, a special new feature we have. And you'll be able to say, well, my data will be filtered by, from myself. And you can say, the data I want to display here is products. And the view is grid 1. And I will be filtering them by category ID. And you save it, and there'll be a field right here, like just a field. And you can drag it on a grid, you can drag it on a form, and it will get displayed as a field, but it will expand in a little grid. So we're doing this for one reason. First of all, we want to make consistent sort of like presentation style and simplify pages. So pages don't really need to have any sort of placement of child use if you want to create complex master detail pages. But that would give you ability to, set it up in that way. And then also you will have ability to,